Welcome to the Dietitian Side Hustle podcast. My name is Katie Dodd, and I'm a nutrition entrepreneur. I spent 7 years as a side hustler before diving into entrepreneurship full time. Before making the leap, I was bringing in 6 figures through my side hustle. If I can do it, you can too. This podcast is for dietitians, interns, and students who want to be inspired to start or perfect the side hustle of their dreams. Let's do this. Hello and welcome to the 273rd episode of the Dietitian Side Hustle podcast, 1 month update of the Geriatric Dietitian 2X project. Now, a few episodes ago in episode 268, I did a whole episode about how I am coaching myself in my own brand, my blog business, the Geriatric Dietitian, and I wanted to share the journey with you. I wanted to share this is what it looks like behind the scenes and here's the work I'm doing. So I've been kind of sharing little updates here and there in the podcast, but I thought, I want to do like full episode updates because I really want to bring you guys on this journey because it can be so easy to scheme and to dream and to come up with these big ideas and you get started. But then life happens, and then sometimes things twist and turn and they don't go like you expected. And so I want to share like a realistic view of what this looks like in real time, especially when I don't know the outcome yet. Now, I do know the outcome is going to be good. I just don't know what it's going to look like and what time period it's going to look like. So, anyways, this has been really fun. Even just sharing the Geriatric Dietitian 2X episode with you guys was like super fun. I'm going to do a little bit of a recap of what I'm up to, so don't feel like you have to go back now and listen to that whole episode. I'll give you a recap, and then I'm going to give you guys an update of where I'm at 1 month out. Now, I am recording this episode a little bit earlier, so by the time it airs, it'll be a smidgen longer than 1 month out, but this is the 1 month-ish update. So again, you can go back and listen to episode 268 if you want all the nitty gritty, but I'm just going to recap it here. And also know that if you want to see slides, I am sharing some slides. If you're more of a visual learner, you can see this on my YouTube channel, Dietitian Side Hustle. So when I did the episode of the Geriatric Dietitian 2X project, I did a whole audit of my business. So I'm just going to kind of summarize what I found in the audit. And what I found was 5 big gaps. First off, my niche. My niche for the geriatric dietitian has been caregivers of sick, frail, older adults. But what I realized is my content didn't entirely match the niche of my website because a lot of my content is focused on older adults themselves and things beyond just sick and frail. And so I realized, okay, I've got a little bit of a gap here. I have an opportunity to really fine tune my niche, fine tune who I am speaking to, and it's never too late to pivot and turn. I also realized that I am underutilizing my social media. I have pretty decent followings, but like no activity. I also had no email list for the geriatric dietitian. And you could listen to the episode to hear me talk all about that. I mean, I've been really pushing email lists lately, and I look back, I'm like, oh my gosh, I cannot believe it took me this long to create an email list for the geriatric dietitian. And I will say I started one, but then when I started my food blog, High Calorie Recipes, I funneled both brands to one list. So I was collecting leads for the geriatric dietitian, but just specific to those who needed high calories. I also had very limited means of sales and promotions because I do not have an email list specific for the geriatric dietitian. And a lot of my products and what I do sell really lean heavily to the high calorie recipe brand. So like my ebooks, my course, some of my handouts. So I walk through the sales cycle. If you've been in my world at all, if you're one of my students, you should have this memorized. But if you've been in my world, you've probably heard me talk about the sales cycle a lot, and this is how business works. This is something that we need to learn and become experts at. It is marketing, lead acquisition, sales, and fulfillment. Marketing, getting eyeballs in front of lots of people, getting the right eyeballs as leads, so that way you get them on your email list so you can send them messages and communicate with them directly, and then providing opportunities for sales people to buy your stuff, and then fulfilling on what was bought. And it's just the cycle that continues and continues. And when I audited the geriatric dietitian, my marketing was crushing it. I mean, in terms of like my SEO and traffic to the blog, doing great. But there was a gap in the sales cycle because I was not collecting leads. And that also led to like really weak sale opportunities. My fulfillment's fine because all of my ways of making sales through this brand are passive. But I really identified 5 big gaps. So from there, I identified 4 opportunities, big opportunities that I was going to work on. And the opportunity number 1 was I have an opportunity to increase traffic by diversifying my streams of traffic and not mostly relying on Google and specifically leveraging Pinterest. For bloggers, Pinterest is kind of like our number two behind Google when it comes to good sources of traffic for most of us. I also had opportunity to increase my visibility and the know like trust factor through YouTube. I actually had a decent, I mean, not a huge amount, but I had a few hundred people following me on YouTube, and some of the videos I had on there were getting good views, but I also hadn't posted like in years. I also saw an opportunity to set up my email marketing, creating a lead magnet, a welcome sequence, and nurture series, and then also creating products specific to geriatric nutrition, separate from the brand high calorie recipes. So the action items that I set for the next 4 months, so the last 4 months of 2025, was to take a live 8-week course on Pinterest and implement the strategies. Start my YouTube, learn the strategy, make a good intro video, get equipment, and start. Set up my email, so get my email account set up, get my domain custom email, create a freebie, create my sequences, and promote it. And then finally create a geriatric nutrition course. And honestly, this has been on my bucket list for years. So I did share with the geriatric dietitian. The blog is currently making around $3,000 in passive income per month. And that's with me doing nothing. And so my thought is like, what if I do something? What's going to happen? So I set a very big, audacious goal because that is just how I roll. And my goal is to double my income in the next 4 months. So that's ambitious. I know that, but that's the goal I set. So my goal was to, by December 31st, 2025, to have $6,000 in passive income, increase sessions, meaning people coming to my website, increase leads, and increase sales. Now, I did identify barriers because, it's so easy to sit and dream of, okay, here's what I'm going to do. But then it's like, okay, what's going to get in the way? Because something always gets in the way. So for me, my biggest barriers, time and energy. As a single mom who only pretty much works when her kids are in school, I do have limited time to work on my brand. And my brand, I wear lots of hats. I run Dietitian Side Hustle. I run my blogging accelerator programs. I have a mastermind that I run. I have a lot of hats that I wear. And then also, I was like, okay, between now and the end of the year, I have 3 trips I'm going on. So I got to account that where I'm going to be like completely out of the office. Also, I've been writing a book, Dietitian Side Hustle, launch date November 7th or November 5th. So that should be coming soon. And also the fact that I have just been getting out of some pretty significant health issues that have been taking me out. I'm like, I just got on the other side ish. I have a migraine right now. So I'm like, I'm on the other side. I'm not struggling as much, but in this moment, I actually do have a migraine. I'll share more about that in a second. So how I'm going to overcome those barriers is, first off, accountability. I'm telling you all that I'm doing this. You guys are going to see the outcome no matter what. There's no hiding. Also, I do have a business coach. I'm in the Smart Success Healthcare Platinum Mastermind. So I have a coach and I have peers that I can lean on. I have also created an action plan with checklists. I'm going to share that in actually just a minute. And if you're watching on YouTube, I'll explain it if you are just listening on the podcast. And then also continuing to prioritize my health, which I am. So let me review quickly what those action items were, and then I'll kind of share the where I'm at. So again, my goal is to 2x my income, my passive income in the geriatric dietitian from 3,000 to 6,000 by the end of this year. I'm leveraging Pinterest by taking a course and implementing the strategies. I'm leveraging YouTube by learning the strategy, making a video intro, getting equipment, planning out videos, and publishing videos at least weekly. I'm setting up my email, securing a custom domain, setting up my email account, getting a freebie, creating a welcome sequence, creating a nurture sequence, and promoting it. And then finally creating a course, getting those slides ready, recording the content, uploading, packaging, and selling. So I feel like I mentioned this before, but I'm currently running the Blog Boss Virtual Mastermind. This is going to be the last time I run this particular brand. It is a 4-month virtual program, and we have a few really amazing dietitians in that program. And one of the unique things about the mastermind this year is not only am I coaching them, but I'm also walking side by side with them. I am doing the Geriatric Dietitian 2X project with them while they are working on building their own brand. So even on our calls, we just had one last night, at the very end, I share my updates. And so one thing we're doing with this cohort is we're actually leveraging a Google Doc where we're sharing the big buckets that we're working on, like the big categories, what our tasks are, the status of that project, when we're going to finish it, and just some notes. So that way, everyone can see what we're up to. And so what I'm sharing, if you do happen to watch this on YouTube, is you could actually see my spreadsheet. I have the 4 categories of Pinterest, YouTube, email, my course, and I did add another. I have my tasks, whether they're in progress, completed, or not started, and then a rough timeline of when I plan to start and complete, and then just some notes for me. So I'll kind of walk through where I'm at with all of the specific tasks that I just listed. So with Pinterest, I am actively taking the course. It's a great course, but it's not very actionable. It's mostly education, which is wonderful. I will say for the last 2 weeks, I've learned enough content I could be taking action, but I currently haven't taken action when it comes to implementing the strategies. I actually haven't posted anything new on my Pinterest. And I do feel like I need to get on that because Pinterest, well, anything takes time, right? It's not like I'm going to post some posts, I'm going to get all this traffic. It takes time. I got to do the work. I'll talk about my barriers in a minute, but that is something where I'm actively taking the course, but I have not implemented any strategies yet. First couple weeks, I felt like I had a valid excuse because we weren't being given action items, but now I just feel like it's mostly time. I'll share kind of my barriers, but I feel like Pinterest is stalled a little bit more than what I thought it would be. With YouTube, I feel like I'm doing pretty darn good on that. I have been learning YouTube strategy. I do have a book I'm reading. I'm not entirely done with it. It is called The YouTube Formula by Daryl Eves. I'm about halfway done with it. I'm going on a trip actually this weekend, so I will be bringing it with me with the goal of finishing it. So I feel like I'm really learning YouTube strategy. And actually, fun fact, in my Pinterest training, I'm actually learning some YouTube stuff. So it's very valuable because I'm implementing on my YouTube. So I did make an introduction video. So it's like a 15-second video intro for my long form videos that I'm doing. I reached out to April with the video dietitian. She's like the go-to expert in all things video for dietitians. And I reached out to her and I said, hey, April, I need some good lighting and mics. Can you help me? So she sent me her recommended list and I got all of that equipment. I planned out my videos, 1 video a week for the next 10 weeks and made thumbnails, which are just like the covers of the videos. And I've been publishing since. So I've been publishing 1 a week. So when it comes to my email, I did secure a custom domain email, katie@thegeriatricdietitian.com. I set up my account in Flowdesk. I created a freebie. It's a 2-page PDF called the 10 Essential Nutrition Tips for Healthy Aging. And then this was very fun. This was probably the most fun I had. Well, I don't know. I feel like I'm having fun with all of that. I'm really enjoying it. So I used a tool that I created for my students in Blogging Accelerator program. It is a tool that teaches my email strategy combined with ChatGPT prompts. And essentially, you put this stuff that I give you, you put in your own information and you take the format I've given you, you put it in ChatGPT, and ChatGPT makes these sequences for you. A sequence is something that you set up once. So someone signs up for your freebie, they get emailed the freebie, and then they get emailed a welcome sequence to learn about you and your brand. And then they get emailed a nurture sequence, which is where you continue to communicate with them for the next year and beyond, providing education, value, why they could trust you, and sprinkling in some sales in there too. So it's a way to build the know, like, and trust factor. It's a way to make sales. And then also it's a way that people are getting value from you. So using these templates, it was crazy. I was able to make my welcome sequence like in a day, like actually in an hour. It was so quick. And then I was able to create my nurture sequence, and it was about a week and a half for me to build it. Now I'm an overachiever. So initially I was going to do 1 email a week for a year, but I decided to do 2 emails a week for a year. So that's why it took me a little bit longer. But what's so cool is I now have an active email list. And when someone signs up, they're going to get this awesome freebie. They're going to learn all about my brand, and they're going to continue to get 2 emails a week from me for the next year. It's really cool. So anyways, I love technology. Now with ChatGPT, of course, I'm not just copying and pasting everything in there. It's giving me the bones. A lot of it's good though, because it's pulling from my own website, but I do of course have to edit and tweak it. So it takes time, but compared to how long it used to take to create, like I made over 100 emails. I wish I would have tracked the exact time. That would have been cool to share with you guys. I didn't, because it was like bits and pieces here and there as I could squeeze it in. I really haven't started promoting the email list. I need to, but I haven't. I'll share with you guys in a minute the one place it is kind of being promoted. So with my course, I've done nothing yet. And a couple other things that I have done, I did update my niche on and made changes to my website to make it to include older adults themselves in my niche and not just their caregivers. And I actually purchased another domain. I purchased nutritionforolderadults.com, and I forwarded that to the geriatric dietitian. So those are all the action items I've done in the last month. Honestly, I'm very proud of myself. I'm like, oh, I did a lot. So again, I gave you guys the update on Pinterest, so it's in progress. I feel like once I start doing the thing, I'm going to be totally pumped and doing more of it. But the place I've really been hanging out the most is YouTube and email. So with YouTube, I don't remember actually how many subscribers. I had less than 350 subscribers. I'm currently at 383 subscribers. So I have gotten some more. I actually did just leverage my own community. I shared on my personal Facebook, the Geriatric Dietitian Facebook, and Dietitian Side Hustle Facebook saying, hey, friends, can you go subscribe to my YouTube channel? And people answered that call, and I got like 20 new subscribers in a day. So honestly, if any of you are on YouTube, go subscribe to the Geriatric Dietitian. It does help me. So I have posted one video a week, and if you're watching this on YouTube, you could actually see those videos. So my first video is just one on welcome to the Geriatric Dietitian. It's had 27 views. I posted one on 11 easy foods to gain weight. That one has had 258 views. I posted the best high-calorie shakes for seniors. That one's only had 14 views. And then was it yesterday or the day before? I posted 10 tips for healthy aging, and that one's had 42 views. So we're not talking massive views, but YouTube is about consistency. It's also evergreen content. So, hopefully as I continue to grow my YouTube presence, more and more people will view these videos. But YouTube has been fun. So the other thing I wanted to give an update on was the email marketing. So I did a lot of work with building it, and I mentioned I haven't promoted it yet, but I did add one promotion, or I guess two promotions. So on my website, I have a sidebar, and I create a little Canva graphic that says, grab your free copy of the Geriatric Dietitian's 10 Essential Nutrition Tips for Healthy Aging, a little picture of what it looks like. And then on my homepage, I do have something that says, oh my goodness, guys. I have two phones. My other phone, I didn't turn my ringer off on. So sorry for my phone going off in the middle of a podcast episode. But anyways, I do have a little kind of like ad on my sidebar where someone can click and sign up for my freebie. And I do have on my homepage, it says sign up essentially for our freebie. And so just by adding those to the website in the last couple of weeks, I already have 106 subscribers. 106 subscribers. That is crazy. I mean, I spent, the first week or two of the month getting this set up, and then it's crazy to me how many subscribers I've had, and it just makes me realize how many leads I've been leaving on the table. I mean, think of how old my brand is. I started the Geriatric Dietitian in 2019. June 2019. And in the beginning, I didn't have massive traffic, but I just think of what are all those subscribers, all those leads I've just been completely leaving on the table. So I will say, if anything, this is the piece that I'm so grateful for, because I know the power of email marketing, and I know that every single one of those subscribers means people I get to help and also income for the brand. So let's kind of recap big picture 1 month into this 4-month project where I am trying to 2x my income. So I am going to share actually what my income was. And I've been averaging for the last 3 months about $3,000 per month in passive income in the blog. And I did share that in episode 268. I share a little more details, but I actually just updated my numbers. And have I made more money? No. But I did make $3,093 last month in completely passive income through the blog. I didn't sell any courses last month. I made $2,983 in ads. I sold about $60 in ebooks, about $18 in Amazon affiliates, and $32 in selling digital products. So as of right now, 1 month into my 4 months, has the number gone up? Not really. So let me share some struggles with you. I think, I'm going to share two things, because when I say like, okay, we're 1 month in, is this bad? No, this isn't bad. But I'm going to share my struggles. My struggle number one is time. I knew that going into this. My book, Dietitian Side Hustle, honestly, this week, it's been taking up more time than I planned. Well, actually last week and this week, because there are very specific things related to the timeline of this book and the number of times I have to read, edit, upload, talk to my editor. There's just so many different pieces of the puzzle that this book has very strict timelines that I have to adhere to. So this book has been taking a lot of time. A lot of time, but it's going to be so worth it when it's in your guys' hands. So time has been a struggle. And then also, I mentioned I have a migraine right now. I feel like my health is doing so much better, so much better. But I feel like my migraines have been starting to creep in just a scooch. Not so bad. Like I was getting them so bad, I'm literally in bed like for 3 days. It was ridiculous. So I do have a migraine right now, but I clearly am functioning. I'm talking right now, but right in between my eyes, I do feel pain. I have a TINS unit I use on my head. I used that right before we got on. And as soon as we're done here, I'm actually going to do a cold plunge. And I'm going to be doing another alternative therapy that it's called New Calm. It's an app that helps. I don't even know how to describe it. It's going to sound wonky, but it really helps me. And with those three things, that probably will take this migraine away without medication. So that's good because my body says we don't like medication and we don't do anything when you take meds. So, but I will say when I do struggle with migraines and pain, it makes it really hard to work. But also I'm going out of town and I had to record this episode. So it's kind of this, well, at least I'm able to do it because honestly, the migraines I was getting a few months ago, it wouldn't happen because they were really, really, really bad. Right now I have like a ring light shining on my face that would not do um, at all before. So I feel like my struggles are time, a scooge of health. I probably wouldn't even have brought that up if I didn't actively have a migraine right now, though. But then I will say I have a smidgen of doubt creeping in. And I want to share this with you guys because, again, I don't just want to be someone who's like, everything's awesome. I mean, do I think everything's awesome? Yeah, I really am that person. But also, I want to be honest about what business is and what it looks like. It is full of ups and downs. And let me tell you where the doubt is coming in. The doubt isn't coming in that I can't do this. I know that I'm going to do this. Where the doubt's coming in is, did I set too ambitious of a goal when I told you guys I'm going to 2x my passive income in 4 months? Maybe I did, but I go back and forth, if I'm completely honest. I go back and forth between, okay, I understand that blogging is a long-term game. You don't get rich quick with anything. It takes time to build Pinterest. It takes time to build YouTube. Honestly, the email list is like, whew, it's doing awesome. But I know that these things take time. Do I know that every single action I'm taking is sowing seeds? Absolutely. Do I know the harvest is coming? 1,000%. Is everything going to be ready for harvesting at twice the amount of income in 3 more months? I don't know yet. But here's the thing. I am still keeping my eye on the prize. My goal is still to hit $6,000 in passive income by December. 1 month in, I haven't really made any more money. But you know what? That's okay. I know what business looks like. I know what the big picture is. So I am dealing with doubt, but as you hear me talking, it's this back and forth between like, I've got this to, ah! And I think one thing too, as dietitians, we can get caught so much in perfectionism and also even worrying about what other people think to where there's that added pressure of like, oh, what if I fail? What if we hit December 31st, 2025 and I haven't made any more money? Okay. Honestly, to me, that makes it more real and more relatable because it shows this is what the journey is like. It's not always what we think it's going to be. But again, I know I'm going to hit that goal. It's just the timeline might look different. The timing of things, how I do things might look different. We'll see. And I will say I do feel some pressure of I need to get a paid product specific to geriatrics out there because right now I'm working on building my audience. I'm building my email list, but the products I'm selling are specific to high calorie. Of the 100 or so people on my email list right now, how many of them need high calorie right now? So I do feel this pressure of, okay, if I want to make that money, I need to create a product that people want and will buy. So really what's up next for me is making that course. Now, again, I'm going out of town and with my book launch coming, with going out of town, with all the other things on my plate, I'm looking at my to-do list like, oh golly, how's this gonna work? But I have a checklist. I know exactly what I need to do one step at a time. So I am still going to have my course live sooner than later. I'm just going to have to roll with it. I'm going to continue to promote my email list, actually promote it and trying to, get more people on it. And I'm going to start becoming more active on Pinterest. So that's my update. That is 1 month into the Geriatric Dietitian 2X project. Um, Big picture, I think I've done a great job. I've done a lot of work that I know matters. I've done a lot of foundational things in my business that I know are going to provide amazing stuff. And again, it's just that real journey of the alternation between this is awesome and but I will say I'm having so much fun doing this, you guys. I feel like it reminds me of back when I started the geriatric dietitian, kind of getting back to the bones because sometimes I'm more focused on this high level helping other people. But to get back to working on my own brand honestly has been a joy. So it has been fun. And I'm going to continue to share updates with you guys. And I'm going to continue to relentlessly pursue my goal to 2x my income by the end of the year. And I'll share all my enthusiasm and doubts with you guys as we go. So anyways, that's what I had for you guys today. Thank you so much for listening to the podcast. As a reminder, my book, Dietitian Side Hustle, is coming out November 5th. I mentioned on the last episode, if you go to katiedodd.com, you can sign up to become a Dietitian Insider. This is going to give you early access. If you want to buy the book one day early, you're going to get sneak peek information from me. And also you'll get front row access to my book launch party, which is going to be on November 5th at 5 p.m. Pacific time. I'm going to be doing some amazing giveaways. And so anyways, go to katiedodd.com, sign up to be an insider. I want to see you guys there as I launch this book. Thanks so much for going on this journey with me. I appreciate each and every one of you so, so much. And I will see you all next week on the podcast. Bye, guys.